have a lot of people who they very well might be the owners, but they might not want nobody to know.
Exactly.
I went into this restaurant downtown one time, and it was amazing. It was called like Sweet Green or something like that, or Peaches and Green, and it was all about like healthy stuff, right? But it was amazing. I was like, man, this food is so good or whatever. And they brought my food out. And the person, I was like, man, this place is so good. And I was asking him about like the restaurant, how long they been there, and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh yeah. He was like, well, the owner's right there. And I was like, he was just sitting over there on his laptop, like looking like, like he was a
That's
customer.
goals. I can't wait to be that
Looking
dude.
like he was a customer.
That's what
like,
here. So she just joined. But yeah, that's definitely goals. I'm trying to start my restaurant. I'm gonna get my burger restaurant in LA. Watch me. I gotta find my questions now.
Hello?
Hey,
Hi.
how you doing?
I'm good. Can you guys see me?
Nope.
No, we can't.
Never use this. Okay. This is so new. Okay, here we go.
How are you?
This is the new age of technology right here. Everything's on Zoom.
I'm not in like school or anything, so during the quarantine I didn't have to do this. How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
How old are you? Oh no, I said, how old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 20 years old.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you're like a social media phenomenon.
That's why I was like, how old are you?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
it.
not in school. I stopped going to school. School wasn't for me. I went to all types of school and it didn't work out.
What part of the country are you in?
I'm from New York City.
Okay, so you're still in New York right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna kick it off.
Why wasn't school for you?
I mean, as a young kid, when I was, coming out of high school, I mean, it was just a lot going on, and my support system wasn't the greatest at that time for that specific moment, and it was just really difficult. And, grades is dropping, and you don't really have any friends. It's just not really a place for you. You're not inspired. You don't really care for nothing. I remember being like 17 and everybody, like, my class, they know what they want to do. They know what they, want to major in college. And I'm like, I don't know, and I don't really care for nothing. Like everybody's like, yeah, I'm applying to this school, that school. I'm like, I don't care for none of this at all. Like, I don't care for this. None of these schools mean nothing to me. None of these majors mean nothing to me. None of these career choices mean nothing to me. I don't really care about none of this, so like I went to college. It was cool. It was cool. But, at the time that I was doing college, I actually liked college. I did really well in that. But at the time that I was doing college, I was also doing like my own business, sort of. At the time I was a hairstylist, and it just didn't make sense for me to be paying money to go to school and then losing money because I'm not at work. It was just like, this is too much money to be losing. So I just stopped.
So you went opposite of what everybody else went, but here you are on the podcast.
Nah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's really crazy. And I talk about this, like, and I recently spoke about this, like, when I, like, not long ago. I talked about this, like, so long ago. Oh, I was 18. It's 2 years ago. I really felt like I was, like, the epitome of failure, and now it's like I'm the definition of success. It's crazy.
So what changed? Or I mean, what happened? I wouldn't even think anything changed, really.
I mean, like, it's just like when we all grow up and it's kind of like you're taught that certain things have value. I was always popular on social media, but that never had value until I started making money. Now, all of a sudden, it's like you're a genius. When I was a kid and I was just, I was famous on everything. I was Facebook famous. I'm Instagram famous.
MySpace famous. Black Planet famous.
No, seriously.
Oh, that might be before your time.
So, but it was never like, it was kind of just always like, oh, that never had any weight or any meaning. But now it's just like, oh, wow, what you've done with social media is amazing. Like, growing up, it's just like people put so much value on school. They put so much value on like these traditional things. They don't put value on really a lot of this new age stuff. And it's kind of like, it's crazy because, this new stuff that goes on can put a lot of like Black people, a lot of, the underdogs in life in like amazing, positions that we've never been in, to the point where it's like every day in my life, I'm always like, people will never guess what I do. Like, it's always that awkward moment when I'm doing anything. Recently I buy my employees devices. My customer service team, they have iPads, they have laptops. My social media marketing team, I went to get her phone. And the people are like, asking me all these questions. And then, I'm just like, they don't know what I'm doing. They like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? What is this phone for? And I'm like, well, I have my phone. I actually have 2 phones, but I need this phone for my employee. And it's like, what? People never think that I'm doing what I'm doing. It's mind blowing to them. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I could be in a store buying clothes and they're just like, what are you doing? What's the occasion? What's the event? I'm like, I need work clothes. Like, I need some
And
clothes.
I think what's so good about it is what you said with social media is the same thing that you applied when you were in school, and you said make it make sense. And so with social media, from you saying, okay, make it make sense, now you leveraged it and you built your platform and built your business and you leveraged it in that manner, right? And then in school, it wasn't necessarily fueling you. It didn't make sense. So you found other things that could make sense for you, and here you are.
So before we go forward, I want Donald the Voice, who's our podcast editor, to make sure he keeps all this in there. I'm going to kick it off, and we want you to introduce yourself because I don't think people know who you are yet. I mean, I know they've seen you, but as listening to this podcast, they don't really know. So this is the Oglesby and Scott Show. My name is Charles Oglesby with Miss Rashonda Scott. Thank you all for tuning in. The purpose of this podcast is to share the stories of successful African-American business owners and investors. With us today, we have Nia the Lock Goddess. She is a social media phenom. She's made over $1 million in sales, and she's only 20 years old. So can you introduce us, or welcome to the show, and can you introduce yourself to the listeners?
Wow, that sounds really cool when you put it that way. Well, I'm born near Mentorville, known as Nia the Lock God. I started out as a hairstylist. I did hair for 3 years, and I eventually started selling what started off really as just an oil, but grew into an entire product line that was like for people with locks. I was a hairstylist, but specifically a loctician, which is like a person who specifically does locks. So I created a whole hair care line that was, not limited to, but for people with locks.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. And then so the product was something that you just created one day from scratch, or was it something like, were you trying other products in the marketplace and none of it was working?
Honestly, lock products specifically, that space is like a great space to be in. I really feel like that's why I've, amassed the amount of success that I have, because it's like most of the products on the market for locks are really terrible. Like, as a loctician, I never used like any of that stuff. Most of the time I was mixing up my own stuff anyway, or using like alternative kind of things. Like, really, like a lot of the products that are marketed towards locks are really they're horrible. They're horrible. It's why like a lot of people with locks have this bad rep of like, oh, your hair is dirty, or like a lot of these stink, all that kind of stuff. And it's because like, the products that are being sold to us suck. They really suck. They have chemicals, they leave buildup, they don't like cleanse your hair properly. It doesn't do anything positive but these is what we have to work with. When you go into the beauty supply store and you're like, hey, you got anything for locks? They point you to like really the bottom of the barrel when it comes to, you know, quality. So, you know, for me, it was like with my clients, I kind of already used alternative stuff and mixed up my own stuff. So it's like when I came out with the products, it was just very like new and refreshing. And a lot of people really took to it. And it was kind of just like, I really just started it like, you know, because I needed some extra money, like, to be honest. But it was like, I was so knowledgeable on it and I was coming at it from such a great like angle and perspective that nobody else was. And it hit off different because it's like, I'm a part of this community. I have locks. I've been growing my locks for 11 years. I was doing locks for 3 years. You know, like a lot of these people, a lot of the owners of these lock products is a bald white dude. So it's like,
come on,
like,
somebody.
So,
I love it.
What was your first product? What was your first product, and what does the line consist of now?
So the very first product was the oil. That was the very first product. The line now has a oil, a spray, a shampoo. We're coming out with a conditioner, and we're coming out with a gel. So, you know, all of that. That's actually a little preview because, you know, some of them don't know what's coming out for the next drop.
Nice. And how old is the company?
10 months.
Wow.
Like actual product line, 10 months.
Nice.
I love the picture where you show you like on a kitchen table and then you show yourself in the warehouse. What was it like getting the warehouse? How did you make that happen?
That was hectic. That was crazy. That wasn't even that long ago. The whole it's a funny story. Like, it's funny, especially where I am today. Like, the whole story is hilarious. Have you ever heard of Lunex Cosmetics?
Cool.
No.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, this is much more impressive than me. But there's basically this. Well, she was 20 at the time, but a 20-year-old Black female entrepreneur started her own skincare line. She actually made $1 million in 8 minutes. Went super viral, crazy. Literally, I was a whole nobody. And it's like, I saw her story, like, she went super viral. I saw her story, and that's what inspired me to be like, you know what? Like, during quarantine, I'm like, you know what? It's no way I'm sitting in this house for a month straight and I haven't made $1, and there's people out here making $1 million in 8 minutes. Like, there's no way. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Next drop, we're going crazy. We're putting out a whole bunch of, you know, I decided to really go big, and it really just worked out. And from there, I was like, yo, but I didn't think it all the way through. I was like, yeah, we're going big. We're going to put out we're going to put out so many bottles. We're going to put out thousands of bottles. And it's like, my team was just like, and at the time, my team was like my aunt. And she's like, where are we putting this? with what scenes? With what space? Like, we're doing this out of an apartment. I'm like, I ain't even think about that. So we're in a room, we're in storage places. We using my apartment, my aunt's apartment, my mom's apartment for storage. It was crazy. So it's like, my mom's a realtor. I'm like, Mom, I need a space. I need a warehouse. And it's like, during quarantine, it was so hard. Like, nobody wanted to show me any spaces. And then it's like, when the protesting started happening, they really didn't want to show nothing. And it was so crazy because I'm like, yo, we're like at the brink. Like, we can't do, like, we're literally on top of each other in this room. Like, this is crazy. And it's just like, as soon as we could get this place, like, we got it. It was like, we did the first big drop on May 27th, and we got the warehouse June 19th, less than a month later.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice. What were your numbers from that first drop? Like, just like how many, like, quantity, right? Like, how, as far as the volume, how many bottles did you move?
Like, my very first drop or the first big one?
Both.
So my very, very first drop was November 11th, and that was the launch. We did 100. We didn't even do 100. We did like 90 bottles, and that was like, that time I did everything myself. Like, I filled it, I packaged it, brought it to the what do you call it? Place.
Post office.
Post office. Did all of that myself. By that, and that was the very first drop. We did like 90 bottles. The big drop, the first big drop we did 4,000 bottles. 4,000. It was a little over 4,000. I think 4,130 to be exact.
Right. So what did you do different to ramp up for that big drop?
I always had like the actual like, what do you call it? Like there was always like a certain amount of hype with my brand. Like I always had like a demand. It was always high. Like at the very beginning, you know, the demand wasn't too crazy. It was like good. Like the first drop we did, we sold out in 45 minutes. And then it's just like, after that, it was like, okay, you know, we continued to sell out pretty quickly. But around February, I had changed my marketing and I started to like really like kind of like be in people's faces, like pounding like 10 posts a day, like just going in. And it was kind of just like, it really like ramped up the demand to the point where it's like, we're putting out 500 bottles and it's selling out in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You
the
know?
crazy part about it is, I don't know if you've experienced this, but a lot of people think that when they promote what they do, when they advertise and they tell people what they're selling, that they're going to scare people away. But I've found you actually you bring more people to you when you promote who you are and what you do.
Oh yeah, it's literally the opposite. It's literally like, and I say that to people all the time, like my main advice that I can give people is stay in people's faces. Like literally stay in their faces. Like I don't understand how people can know you and not know that you have a business. Like if I know you and I'm friends with you, like why don't I know that you do this? Like if anyone who knows me, they know that I sell hair care products. They know what I'm doing with my life. Like I put it out there. Like how can you expect anything to come to you? Like closed mouths do not get fed. Like say something. Show that you do this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I share that with my women's group all the time. I tell them all the time, like people need to know that you do what it is that you say you do, especially in real estate, right? People want to work with people who are working. And then I'm also getting deals and opportunities that I've never even had to look for. Like opportunities are literally falling in my inbox because everybody and their mama know what I do. Yeah. So that's how it's supposed to be.
So one question that we didn't ask you, that we ask everybody, is what was life like growing up?
I mean, I feel like there's so many different areas, like so many different ages. Like, what do you mean specifically?
I mean, I think you kind of touched on it a little bit when you were talking about like why you didn't go to college or why you went to college and didn't really stay in college. But really, we're talking about like maybe some things you might have saw when you were younger that might have kind of directed you towards entrepreneurship. That kind of stuff.
You know what I can say? Living in Harlem was such a blessing. Like, I don't know where y'all from.
I'm from Southern California.
Have you ever heard of Harlem?
Absolutely. I've heard. You know what? I think that we don't give Harlem enough due. I don't think we give Harlem enough due, but I know Dame Dash is really big on like how Harlem is different than other places. So yeah, of course I've heard about Harlem.
Nah, Harlem is like growing up here. I can definitely say like first and foremost, like this community, there is a lot of like I grew up around like a lot of people who are Black that had amassed some amount of success. You know, like my own mother, real estate broker, has owned the Menaville company for 20 years, you know, nearly as long as I've been alive. You know, my mom had a restaurant at one point in time. Like living in this community, I literally knew and was close to, not close to, but my mom was close to like a lot of these community leaders, like people who owned establishments in you know, in Harlem. So like it was something that was really different from my childhood that a lot of other people don't experience. Like I remember when Obama first got elected, and it's crazy thinking about how I thought at that time and how I think now. Like I remember when there was this place called Mobe's, and it was like this big restaurant, and I actually met Busta Rhymes in there. And, you know, it was like packed door to door. We're in there and it's like the election day and everybody's just like so excited and, you know, all that. And Obama wins and everybody's going crazy. And I'm just like, yo, why are y'all so like surprised? Because as far as I knew, like at that time, I'd never met anyone who was not voting for Obama. So as a child, you don't even think that these people exist. So it's like me as a kid, I'm growing up in this space of like, yo, everybody's supporting Black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Black people are in power here. Black people have, you know what I'm saying? So I guess it's like, it's almost kind of like, in a way, like, I had a different, like, outlook in a way, like, of seeing, like, okay, there's success that can be, like, reached even if you're a Black person. Because it's like, in other places, you may not see a Black person own anything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You may not see a Black person successful in any degree. So it's kind of just like, for me to grow up and see so much success, to even be like, oh, a Black person is a president, that's very normal to me. That doesn't even seem out of the ordinary, because I'm growing up in a place where it's like, people aren't, I didn't really see, you know, a lot of racism, and I didn't really see, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm growing up in such a Black community.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people from across the country who, like, that was not my experience growing up. It wasn't completely the opposite, but I definitely, like, I didn't grow up around any entrepreneurs at all, really, especially Black entrepreneurs. I want to say I was, I had to think about it. Definitely in my immediate family, I want to say I am the first, like, entrepreneur, right? And so I had to figure out what, I remember even figuring out the keywords and the buzzwords like financial freedom and generational wealth. And it wasn't until I started, like, going to workshops and seminars and meeting, you know, different people and reading books, to where, like, this is my very first time talking about this and having these conversations. I was like, you know, we aren't sitting down at the dinner table and talking about, you know, how to invest in stocks. It just wasn't happening. So I think that's really cool that you grew up around that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So you're 20 years old and you've accomplished so much. What does that feel like, and what does life look like for you?
Crazy. It's crazy. Everything's so, like, and this all happened so, like, so fast. Like, literally going into quarantine, I was somewhat of a regular person, and coming out, I was like a superstar. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was literally crazy. Like, you know, coming out of, like, even when I did hair, you know, because I'm on Twitter now, but I've been on Instagram. You know, I have 3 Instagram pages. I think the page with the least followers is like 57K. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I've always kind of had that following on there. And it's like, doing hair, people were always kind of like proud of me. And they're like, yo, you're going to go far. Like, you're going to do, you know, really, really big things. Like, this was all the time. Like, when I did hair, like, I got this a lot. And it's just like, now this is crazy. Like, even when, like, I'm actually going apartment hunting right now. You know, I have an apartment, but friggin' New York City is so small. My bedroom can only fit my bed. It's ridiculous. So I'm trying to get, like, a much bigger space. And it's like, going to see these, like, super, like, luxury apartments. Like, my mom is, like, bragging on me. And by the end of the showing, the realtor's like, I'm proud of you. Like, it's to that point, like, everybody is proud of me. When I was in the Verizon buying my employee the phone, the freaking Verizon person was like, I'm proud of you. Like, I don't go a day, people who haven't spoken to me in months, years, it's crazy. Like, people that probably would have just walked clear by me, could have looked me dead in the eye in the street and said nothing, these days, they stop, hey, Nia, I'm proud of you.
It's funny because I literally, on your post, you said something about you crossed the $1 million mark or something along those lines. And I said, I don't even know you and I'm proud of you. So it's funny.
I did that one a lot. Thank you.
So one of the cool things that I see is you present this polished image. How important is that to you and your brand?
What do you mean?
Well, just like with the bag and the suit jacket and
how I dress.
Yeah. Or is that something new? I don't know.
I mean, she's just a flat person. Like, what do you mean? Like,
that might be a Harlem thing. Dame Dash would say that's a Harlem thing.
Like, what do you mean? Because and when you say that, you know what, I thought it was interesting though, because Charles, she sounded like you when she said, look, you know, I'm gonna just put it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't know what means what. I just know that there's a demand in the marketplace, and currently, like, our people are not being fed or served. So That was the bar right there.
To answer that question, well, when it comes to like my style, that's definitely like a thing. Like that's definitely a thing because like a lot of young entrepreneurs, they don't do that, and it's kind of like almost a little weird. But I always like literally when I was a hairstylist, people always swore up and down that I was so passionate about doing hair, and I never necessarily really was. Like I remember waking up in the morning to go do hair. And it's like the night before, I would literally dream of myself. Like in like a perfect world, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm putting on my button up and I'm putting on my tie and, you know, I'm in my walk-in closet. Like this is how I wanted to live. And so it's like, I hated when I really woke up in the morning that I put on a damn sweatsuit and then probably some slides so I could go stand up in the salon and do hair all day. So I always wanted to be in a profession or in a place or in a position where I could dress that way. And it's like, now that I'm a CEO, it's like, it makes perfect sense. So I dress like that because I really always wanted to. Like people, they see me now and they be like, oh, like, you know, do you do this because of how you want other people to perceive you? And it's like, you know, that's a little perk, but it's like, cause like honestly in my regular clothes, I really do look super young and I do get a different level of respect, but it's like I really always wanted to dress this way. Like I always wanted to have that type of like attire.
Do you still do hair or do you just strictly focus on the products business?
I don't actually do any hair. Like you can't book me, but you know, I have people around me. Like some of my clothes, I didn't have any friends in high school. I didn't have any friends in college. So all of my friends I met through like doing hair, my days of being a hairstylist. So, you know, even most of my employees now, they're people that I know from me doing hair. So, you know, I don't do hair, but if it was really like a crunch situation, and I own a salon too. So it's like whenever there's really like issues in the salon and I have 3 stylists, if they can't, you know, do anything, the last resort is me. So, you know, if it's an emergency situation or if it's like a friend that I really don't mind and I'm not do anything, then I'll do it. But other than that, like I'm not trying to do any hair.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about I was gonna ask you about having a salon part. So when did that take place?
Literally like, so I had all of this like kind of happened is so crazy because it's like people at my old salon, I know they're so tight, but it's just like they kicked me out of my old salon and it's like I was in like this shambles, like crazy place of like, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? Like all this like shambles and everything. And then it's like I found these like salon studios to go to, and that's when I had like my first kind of place. And then it's like literally like when I stopped doing hair, I had to just hire somebody to kind of like replace me. And then, you know, in that moment I was like, you know, maybe I can make some money off of this. You know, if I hire a few more people and have a few more stylists, you know, if it outbalances the rent, here's another opportunity.
So does your products business kind of feed into the other business and vice versa?
Oh, the products is like, it all. Like the salon is like a little baby second stream of income. It's cute, you know, and it also is like the place where we breed the content because it's like, you know, you can show the product all day. You can show pictures of, but actually showing like us using it, you can actually see the shine on the hair. You could actually see the growth from this person who came in last month and here they are this month. You can see the lather. You know what I'm saying? You see the people having such a great experience and all of that kind of stuff. That really like brings people towards the products more than anything. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a little second stream of income, but it's also like our content goal.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And you created, I'm sure, a lot of community, obviously, from that. Right, like people are like on there, like, oh, hashtag lot goals. I'm sure, like you can just show like the differences, like you said, with the different cuts, curls, styles, color, everything.
They're called lock gods, Rashana, lock gods.
Yeah.
my bad. But yeah, no, you can. I think it's a genius marketing tactic to, like you said, you have the product, but then you also can show how you're using the product.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So
that was the question that I was going to ask y'all.
When it's so interesting, I feel like we've asked you a bunch of questions and you fired off some really strong answers. That it's turned into a quick episode, but I think it's going to be a powerful episode. So we'll head into the the wrap-up questions, unless Rashana has anything else she wants to ask you.
Yeah, I do actually. So by you being 20 years old, being a business owner, CEO, an entrepreneur, a boss, an owner of several different businesses, have you hired a business coach?
My mom, I mean, I haven't hired her, but my mom, you know, she literally is the cheat code of it all. Like, she's owned a business for 20 years, as long as I've been alive. She's given me my lawyers, my accountant, like my insurance, like everything that I don't even do anything anymore. Like, even when it comes to applying for a credit card, Mom, can you know what I'm saying? I don't even do any of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like my mom really has been like my business coach. And, you know, I still have my learning curve of not necessarily knowing what to do in certain situations, and you kind of wish you had someone who knew, because she knows a lot. But when it comes to like my specific area, like she did real estate, and you know that comes with, you know, certain similarities of just being a business owner. But like when it comes to like what I'm doing, it's a little bit more specific, and I do have to go through a learning curve. But she's definitely been a huge help and been like so great, and I haven't had to struggle as much as like a lot of people. So I'm grateful.
Nice.
What was my question? Oh, so you mentioned that you've been famous on all social media platforms. I'm curious what the secret is. What's the key to that?
I mean, like Twitter's an easy one. I've been on Twitter for like 2 months. Like it says I've been on here since 2017, but I didn't actually like go public with my Twitter from the jump. Like I just went public with my Twitter, because my Twitter, I never was like a Twitter type of person. I was always like a big Instagrammer, but it's like I got on Twitter initially, literally because like my favorite artist, she would not drop her dates of when she was going to be in New York City on Instagram. So I'm like, yo, I want to know, like, I want to go to your concert or whatever it is. She was like on Good Morning America. And it's like, it was only on Twitter. I'm like, yo, I want to see, like, I'm in New York. Like, I want to see you. So I literally made a Twitter just to see like when she was going to be in New York City. And like, that's just what I had it for. I started to make memes on there and like screenshot them and put them on Instagram, but I never went public. Like my Twitter probably had like 7 followers for the past 3 years until like 2 months ago. And then it's like the first time I probably went viral on Twitter like 7 times. The first time I did it, I was like, oh, okay, I know how this goes. Y'all like a good before and after. And after that, just kept playing to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they loved like, oh, the room to the warehouse. They love the floor to the millie. Like, they love that. You know what I'm saying? So you hit them with the 2 packages to 2008. It just goes crazy every single time. Like, you know, you hit them with a little before and after, you're going to go viral. It's just that simple.
I love it.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite artist?
That's the cheat code.
Huh?
Who was the artist?
At the time, and this might come as a surprise, but Alessia Cara. At the time. I'm like, 17 at the time. So yeah, that's what I was into. You probably don't even know
that. I have no idea. Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's 17-year-olds, man. Yeah, that's what I was into.
So how many employees do you have?
You know, they really go in and out, but I got 5 warehouse associates. I got 5 warehouse associates. We got a customer service. We got my assistant. I think that's everybody in the warehouse. And then we got, is it? Yeah, I think so. We got 3 stylists. We got me. I feel like I'm missing one person.
Mom.
Oh, and my content creator. So that's 12. I mean, I guess my mother. Sure. But yeah, that's 12 people. 12 people. I mean, you could go that. Say 13, but I did have another stylist and I just had to let it go. So it was 13 and then we down to 12.
I'm sure most of the people that work for you are older than you. So how do you go about managing people who are older than you?
Oh, everybody has, like, especially in my warehouse. Oh my God, I love my warehouse team. Oh my God, I love them so much. I love them down. We had a disaster in the warehouse today. Absolute, like, to the point where I'm like crying. It's a disaster. Like, I don't know if we have time for me to tell the story.
Yeah, we got time.
So we have, like, we're in New York City, And my facility doesn't have a loading dock. And this is like one of those things that I wish that I had like someone who knew better to have guided me in that direction and being like, hey, you need a loading dock. But my mom doesn't know this. So like, we just trying to find like a big space. And this is why I chose the warehouse that I have. There's no loading dock. So it's like, it's hell and a biscuit to get these huge deliveries into my facility. Like, it's literally crazy. Like, but today it was just completely out of pocket. We've got like a $30,000 delivery being delivered. This guy, first and foremost, the truck that they sent, the actual lift gate, which is like, we have like these drums. These drums weigh 400 pounds minimum. They go up to like 600 pounds just for one of them. And the lift gate is like the part of the truck that goes like from like, you know, where it's at to the ground. And you're supposed to have a lift gate that's big enough to fit a pallet. Now, a pallet can fit 4 drums on it. This lift gate is too small for the pallet. So it's like, essentially, he basically kind of can't even get it off the truck. Then it's like, also, this is a surprise delivery. When you're delivering like a delivery that we talking about like 7,000 pounds worth of stuff, like you have to tell people like, hey, we're coming with 7,000 pounds worth of stuff. This ain't nothing you could just leave in a lobby. You know what I'm saying? So they got a surprise delivery. They're calling us 20 minutes before, and they're like, hey, we're coming. We're going to be there in 20 minutes. What? I don't even have my guys here. It's like 3 females here about to handle 7,000 pounds worth of stuff. Like, are you serious? Then you're bringing it on a freaking lift gate that's not even big enough. And then it's like, okay, the guy's moving them individually to bring them onto the lift gate. They're bringing them down. Now it's like, how are we getting it onto a curb? He's leaving it in the road. He's leaving it in the road, like the cars. And it's not like, it's not even on the sidewalk. It's not in front of my facility. It's nowhere near. It's in the freaking road. Now you did this surprise delivery. You got a lift gate that's too small. You don't even have the pallets on the road. You got the individual drums on the road. Now it's like, okay, if that wasn't enough of a disaster, we're trying to maneuver, like I'm saying, like females, we're trying to maneuver this drum into the facility. We bring it in the elevator. The drum pierces in the elevator. It's oil everywhere. We in the elevator trying to maneuver. I'm panicking. I'm like trying to do something. We busting our ass. The oil's fucking slippery. I'm trying to like hold this down. I'm calling the super, bring the keys. Like, I don't even have my key to get downstairs. I'm like, yo, this is freaking madness. I get on the phone with these people and I went in. I was like, this is absolutely unacceptable. And I need compensation and I need a redelivery and y'all need to take all this stuff back. And y'all are going to pay for any damages that have been, accrued in this time period to my facility. Like, this is ridiculous. It was horrible. It was horrible. I was like in shambles. My whole team, like, we're all like trying to get it's not just like, we're all trying to get the drums in there. We're like busting we're like slipping and sliding. This is a 400-pound item. We're trying to maneuver, sliding on oil at the same time. Like, this is just crazy.
Did you get any pictures?
Crazy. Oh yeah. Oh, what? Pictures, videos.
Before that's about to be on Twitter. What you mean?
I thought about it. I even said that. I said, you know what? I should embarrass these people on Twitter. I really should. I really can. And I'm like, and I just might. We'll see. You stay tuned. Stay tuned for that one.
The untold stories of entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah, they should have a reality show. That should be a thing. Like how they have Real Housewives, they should have Real Entrepreneurs.
There you go. Start it. I'll follow. I'll watch. Nice.
That'd be insane. That was crazy.
So we have a few wrap-up questions that we're going to go ahead and ask. I love your energy. I love the success you've been able to create. And like you said, a short period of time. And I love the fact that you just jump right in and you're like, and that's why I said, Charles, because Charles has the same mentality of things doesn't have to be perfect, but you just got to get started and you just got to do it. And so it seems like you strongly believe in that too.
Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised. Like, you might not think something is fire, but everyone else will.
Right. Yep. Oh, before we get into that, are you doing your manufacturing in America or are you importing it from overseas?
Like in terms of what?
Well, like all the products that you're creating, are you working with people who they're doing it for you, or are you doing it yourself, or how does that look?
You mean making the products?
Yeah.
We do every single thing in-house.
Really?
Yes. There's
Wow.
not one product that comes made. Not one. Not one.
What?
Yeah, swear to God. Every single thing. Oil, and even now, like the conditioner's a hard one, but we're doing it in-house.
Wow.
The conditioner's a
That's
hard
crazy.
one. That one's a crazy one. Like seriously, to the point where it's like we're ordering like special stick blenders because it's, the consistency is not what we usually do. Like everything else is a watery consistency that you could mix with a spoon. But this one, oh no. You mix that with a spoon, you'll be like Papa. So, you know, we're working hard to do this, and we're getting like, you know, machines in there and everything like that. But I don't even do that. I haven't even gotten into that yet. Like so far, we do all the mixing ourselves.
I feel like how you before we wrap, how you were raised is so important, because I feel like what you saw and the people that had success, it still impacts you today. And so you run into difficulties and problems, and you still have that same mindset of, I'm going to get it done, because we just get shit done. It's not, oh man, woe is me, this is going on. Like, that's dope to me.
You can't do that. You gotta get it done at the end of the day. You know, one thing that I keep with me is like, I ain't go to school. This is what I got. Like, I gotta make the best of this. Like, I ain't doing nothing else. I ain't finna do nothing else. So it's like I can never quit on me. At the end of the day, I always gotta figure it out, like some way or another.
Oh,
Right.
Rashana, what's the rap questions?
So what does success mean to you?
Look, that's heavy. That's deep. What does success mean to me? That's a good one. I would definitely just say like really feeling proud of yourself. I guess, you know.
That's good. What is your favorite personal development or business book?
Books. Ugh. I don't do the books.
Or podcast, YouTube?
I definitely, I do a lot of different, I literally will study individual people though. But let me think of something. What can I tell you that
I think that's good. Who's one of your favorite people to study?
Definitely like the girl that I was speaking about earlier from Moon X Cosmetics. I definitely learned a lot from her.
Yeah, that's dope. That is super cool. Wow. What sets apart successful business owners from those who give up, fail, or never get started?
Say that again?
What sets apart successful business owners or just individuals in general from those who give up, fail, or never get started?
What sets these people apart? Honestly, I honestly just think like to be honest, I think what's for you is for you. You know, one thing about like me, like I used to play basketball when I was in high school. I played basketball for 8 years. I got nothing out of that. You know, it wasn't for me. As soon as I started doing business, it was literally like the whole time I was literally like, you know, even for me, the smaller successes felt like huge successes because no one could have told me I was going to be no damn millionaire. Like I didn't think about that. I was happy with the little, if I made $1,000, I was happy. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, what's for you is for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if something's not working out for you, maybe it's not nothing to be like super like, oh, I'm not good enough or it's my fault. Like maybe that's just not for you. Yeah. If it was for you, it probably would have worked out.
So before we get to the last question, you have a new product coming out. Can you tell us about that? And can you kind of tell us where they can find that?
Oh, yeah, I have a new product. So we actually have 2 new products coming out. Actually, the other one I haven't really announced yet. I don't know who's watching, but you know, haven't really announced that one yet. But we are coming out with the conditioner. That's definitely announced. And that one, oh my goodness, I worked so hard on that, and it's perfection. It's perfection. I literally I even had my workers take like a week off because they're working based off of like our drops. So it's like if I don't do a drop, they're not gonna work pretty much. But I was like, if I continue to focus on these drops and everything like that, I'm never going to get this product done. Like, I had to mix different ingredients, come up with different formulas, come up with the budget, come up with like how we're actually going to bottle the product, come up with like all these different kinds of stuff, the labels. I had to really like study and search the ingredients, because this is not something that's super easy to do. Like with an oil, you're like, okay, I'm just going to take this, and that. We're going to just mix this together. Like, no, a conditioner is completely different. You almost kind of have to figure out how you're mixing oil and water. You do need some form of chemical. Now, you can use things that are not some form of chemical, but something that's not necessarily completely 100% natural. Everything in it is definitely derived from nature. So I had to make sure that I was using the highest quality of stuff. So it's like, okay, this may not be super easy to do, but we're still making sure that it is still like as natural as possible, more natural than anything on the market for sure. So that was like definitely, it's a special product. It's definitely special. It's amazing. It's curated for locks. Like a lot of people with locks, like conditioners are just way too thick. They get caught in your locks. Now your locks is mildewing. Not this product. This product's amazing. Keeps your locks soft, and you're smelling amazing. It smells really good, and it does not build up. And that's like really a win in the lock community, because you don't see that. You don't see that one.
You mentioned the term drop multiple times. What is a drop?
So our products sell out within, like, now it's not as crazy as 3 minutes, but it's like, it's not going to be there for a full day. It's not. It doesn't.
So you promote it, and then you say, hey, we're going to release this product on this Friday. Mm-hmm. And so be ready to come to the website on this Friday.
Literally, yeah. Just like that.
And how far in advance do you start marketing that product?
Now, right now, like if it's a situation, okay, normally probably like a week. Normally, like realistically, because we do our drops so close together now. But before we used to do a freaking, I remember one time I think we did like a 12-day countdown. Like now we're at a 9-day countdown, which was pretty cool. But normally we don't even have that much time. 5 days, 5-day countdown, because we're doing the drops so close together.
Mm-hmm. And then how much product are you anticipating? Like when you say you sell out, right? So how many bottles, I don't know if you know yet, like how many bottles are you anticipating having ready for like your next drop for the conditioner?
I absolutely know. It's going to be the conditioner is new, but everything is going to be dropping at the same time. But we're going to try to do like at least 8,000.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah. And when's the next drop?
October 10th.
Nice.
I'm getting mine, and I don't even have locks, because she said she had a post, and it was like, can this work on your beard? Yeah, it can work on your beard. Can it work on this hair, and she showed all her products can work on different kinds of hair, not just locks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got one of my employees. He's actually Mexican, and he loves the conditioner. Like, it's really amazing. Yeah, seriously, it's amazing. It's so light, like for people with loose natural hair, you can really use it as a leave-in, and it's fantastic. It's this super luxurious feel. It's a moisture that you're not used to. It's really fantastic. So
hold on. Wait a minute. How you gonna tell me to hold on?
Because I was gonna ask her a question. I didn't want to forget it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Rashonda Scott.
What has been your most favorite thing about being a business owner?
Everything. I love my life. I think it's the happiness for me. That's something I never thought I would feel. Like, I remember being content for the first time, and I thought that was it. I thought that was the best I'd ever feel. So like, actually, like to the point where it's like I didn't even believe in happiness. I was like, that's a myth. They lied. That's bullshit. And it's like, to actually be happy, that's crazy.
That's dope. I know that back in the day, locks used to be called dreads. Now the focus is not calling them dreads, but calling them locks. Why is that?
My mom told me it's because it's nothing dread about it. That's just what my mom told me. Other people on social media, I mean, I think that's really like the whole kind of like, You know, maybe there's like some other kind of meanings, but that's the main one that I've heard. I'm not like a super stickler. I know that saying, you know, dreads is a little bit more controversial, so I will stick to locks, and that's just what I'm used to. My mom raised me saying locks, so you know. But I think that's what I know is the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been growing your locks?
11 years.
Yeah.
11 years. Did you do the big chop, or did you like transition?
Yeah, nah, I had a perm. I was 9 years old. I had a perm, and my mom cut my perm off, and I was like, you know, little baby twist.
Nice. I just asked because I thought about plenty of times getting
We're trying to get you some.
I've thought of plenty of times, but anyway, we have a final wrap-up question, and I think we know the answer to this, but the question is, who is someone you look up to and why?
Why do you think you know the answer?
Well, I was thinking like maybe you'll say your mom because you talked about her already.
Yeah,
but I would like to be proven wrong.
You know, these days the answer really should be my mom. Like these days, you know, normally I'll probably say Ava DuVernay is like one of my biggest like inspirations and you know in life, and I got like a portrait right there, commission made. But you know, these days definitely my mom. Like we weren't always close, you know what I'm saying? But when I started, you know, my business and everything, and it's like I was kind of following in her footsteps, it completely changed our whole relationship. So, you know, these days I could definitely say my mom.
That's so crazy because I know a lot of people, they avoid the path that their mom is leading them down. And there's a lot of prosperity when you follow the person who was put on this earth to actually guide you. So,
Amen. Look at you preaching. Coming through
with
with
that,
a word.
Thank you for coming on the show. I know people are going to get a ton of value from this show. Good luck on your upcoming releases and products. I'll definitely promote it.
How can we find you, follow you, support what you have going on, support the next drop?
I am Nia the Lock God on Twitter. The most popular page is Nia the Lock God on Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel. I haven't really gotten into that yet. I'm just too busy these days. Shop Nia the Lock God on, you know, shopniathelockgod.com if you want to buy my stuff. Yeah.
Dope.
Nice.
So this has been another episode of the Oglesby and Scott Show. My name is Charles Oglesby with Rashana Scott. Signing off.
Cool.
Dope.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Getting late where you are.
I'm gonna make sure that I send. I have a friend of mine who just launched her skincare line, so I'm gonna definitely make sure I send her this when it comes out.
Awesome. Yeah. Also, can I see this? Like, is there playback?
Yeah, so it's gonna drop. You mean before it's published?
You want to listen to the raw?
You mean?
I can send you a link.
Or you mean just like when we drop it? Yeah. So we publish it. It'll be published, I don't know what, maybe like 2 weeks, because I think we got a couple episodes before you. Maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So you'll receive we got a podcast flyer and everything. So you'll be on there, and then you'll receive a link for the podcast too.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, bye.
All right, you too.
Bye.